Yes, Lillian. I'm so terribly bored in this quarantine, I could just die. You won't. Oh, right. Why don't you make yourself a TikTok? A what? It's a platform where teenagers make motion pictures of themselves dancing and lip syncing. How's that? Only kidding. It's a cocktail where you take the absinthe and you pour it directly into your face till time goes tick-tock. Tick-tock. Ethel? Yes, Lillian? I'm so terribly bored in this quarantine, I'm going to the salon, just this once. You won't? That's incredibly stupid. Oh, right. Why don't you get yourself a booty call? Well, what's that? Why, it's an arrangement that you make with that certain special someone where you meet up and you have sexual relations with the understanding that there won't be a relationship. I beg your pardon. Only kidding. It's a cocktail recipe. What you do is you take some rum and you drink it until you talk like a pirate. Booty! Ethel? Yes, Lillian? I'm so terribly bored in this quarantine, I'm going to an infection party. Now, Lillian, what you have to remember is you're incredibly stupid. Oh, that's right. Why don't you get yourself a Zoom? What? What's that? Why, it's a program that allows you to use motion pictures of yourself to have meetings with large groups of people remotely. Ethel, have you gone cuckoo? Only kidding. It's a cocktail where you drink gin until you feel like you're flying. Zoom, zoom, Ethel.
Ethel?
Yes, Lillian?
Well, I simply can't stand these masks and I won't wear them another day. I'm throwing them right in the garbage.
You won't. You'll catch your death as well as these hands.
Oh, yes, all right.
Why don't we get ourselves some Grubhub?
Well, what's that?
Why, it's an application, of course, that lets you choose food from any restaurant you want and have it brought right to your door.
Oh, Ethel, for heaven's sakes.
Only kidding. It's
Way ahead of you, Ethel. It's a cocktail where you drink so much tequila that you grub around on the floor like my late husband used to.
May he rest in peace. Grub, grub, Lillian.
Thank you. Fun fact, they actually thought that tequila and lime could cure the flu in 1918.
I still believe it could.
Yeah. So when after shooting that last video, I tried it. You know, I wanted to see if it could cure quarantine, and it did for a while. So yeah, it was great.
It's been working for me since March 15th. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah. But apparently that's how the tequila shot got invented, was they thought it was a cure for the flu.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's it. Bring it back. I like it.
I know. I'm trying to do my part, you know.
You can only do, you're one person. What do you
it's true. It's true.
So how have you been spending your time other than making those types of videos? Because those are really good. It takes a lot of work to do. Actually, I looked for, because I put a beginning and end, I couldn't find the font you used. Like the program you used, real-time stuff. That was really cool.
Thank you. I actually, I am obsessed with fonts, and I have a website where you can download free fonts, and then I had them on my computer, and I was like, I bet I can get that on my phone. And I did. Yeah. So I have a video editing app that I use. And I just, I use the font. It's an old font. I think it's actually from like 1920 something, but I was like, I think that's close enough.
I don't think anyone's gonna nitpick.
Yeah.
Actually, Sarah, that font wasn't invented until 1924.
I have
gonna
been
be some nerd out there
at the responses. Like sometimes, like some people were like, talkies weren't invented until the 20s, and I was like, right, but like, I talk, so I don't know. I was like, you're gonna have to suspend that disbelief. And then some people like, I don't know. Yeah, it's been interesting to see what people pick up on. Yeah, I watched the old ones and the sound is so messed up, and I figured out how to fix it like after the third one, I think, or maybe the second one. I don't know. So I like watching the old one.
That, like, well, I thought that added to it actually. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think it took away, and especially in this
let's
day and
say
age.
It's a choice.
Yeah. Right. You could tell what was going on, but you're also putting it together. I mean, it fit, you know.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not how it plays.
Yeah, it's been interesting. Lots of film nerds were like in the comments of one of the first ones I posted on Twitter. They were like, actually, talkies were invented. They just weren't widely used and wasn't for commercial. So if these are home videos, and I was like, obviously they are home videos of two lesbians who killed Lillian's husband. So spot on. And they were like, what? I was like, that's the backstory there. Is Lillian and Ethel are lesbians.
I think you can, in film or any kind of art, you can get too educated.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Where that's all you think about. You don't think about, is this entertaining to watch? You look at the detail, and there's certain, merit to that, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
You have to, if it's not entertaining, nobody wants to watch it, who cares?
Yeah.
It's got little quirks. I find that.
I minored I ended up with like a film minor, but it was just very happenstance because like I happened to take enough classes. I transferred like twice. And so I happened to have taken like enough classes that it just sort of cobbled together. So I've never like the film classes I've taken are like feminism and film theory, which is not useful in like making film at all. And so, but like, I would take these classes and they would be with like real film, like people who like knew stuff.
Sure, yeah.
And they would be like, well, Tarantino does this, and I'd be like, cool, I've never seen any. Like, I really like telling people that I was like, I've never seen any of the Godfathers, and they would just be like,
I can one up you there. I always say that The Godfather 3 really saved the franchise. That
okay,
is worse than not seeing any of them at all.
I've been yelling
I liked it. I like Godfather 3, but if you're Italian, it's heresy. It's like saying you like Caddyshack 2.
Sarah, I'm curious about something you said there with, do you think it carries over as well if somebody's making a feminist film, or if they're making a film that is intended to be educational or has this purpose other than entertainment? Do you end up sacrificing the entertainment factor often for that? Is that a necessity, or can it be done where you have both, where the film creates a mission and is entertaining?
I think if you go into making any type of art with a specific mission that can enhance, it's like that's like any type of seasoning, right? It's like it can enhance it so much, right? If you go into a film and you want to make something feminist or like inclusive of the LGBT community, or like you want to make something that highlights any message that is like, but it absolutely can be overdone, right? And then the other thing is with film, especially, like, I mean, film is like porn. Like, we've always watched it through the male gaze, right? That's what it's always been about. And so when you change that, I think like it can be amazing. Like, I think the reason everyone's losing their mind about I May Destroy You by Michaela Cole is that I think that's an example where she didn't go in with the intention to like, she just went in as herself, and she is just a very honest person. She happens to be a Black woman who was assaulted. And so that's the story she told, and she told it so beautifully. But I think like, I think that would be, it is probably hard to watch for a lot. I mean, it was hard to watch for me because it is very intense and very difficult. But like, I think
it's difficult if that's not what you're expecting. If you're like just looking at, we're also very used to watching like content when we're bored. We want to come home, we want to veg, we want to find something simple and easy, and we just want to enjoy it. So
like I watched Chappelle's special, and I was like, everyone was like, Chappelle has a new special, and I was like, cool. So I was watching it, I was like, y'all didn't tell me I was gonna cry.
Right, it showed a comedy special. It wasn't stand-up comedy. It was a moving piece, but it was not stand-up.
It was amazing, but I was like, I was not at him, but I was so mad at everyone who was like, oh my God, you have to go watch Chappelle's new special. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I was like, I should have been given a heads up. Yeah. Right. Also, not for nothing, everyone was so mad about Nanette. No comments over it when Chappelle. I mean, they were very similar, just in terms of the like percentage of jokes.
Nanette even had more jokes in it. Like they were very deep, very heavy pieces, but Nanette was still like framed around. Which I personally, I'm a Chappelle fan. I still enjoyed the Chappelle piece, but it didn't. It wasn't jokes. It wasn't like a stand-up structure thing.
Yeah, I loved it. I wasn't mad at him. I was mad at everyone who just posted about it without being like, BT dubs, you might cry. Don't watch it while you're like doing your makeup, which I was. I literally put it on while I was doing my makeup and I wrecked it.
Like, I watched it at the end of a night and like wanted to go to bed after. And I ended up like I had to like go to a gym and just like turn like weird, frustrated, angry energy. Like,
yeah. I watched it. That was a similar thing. I watched Nanette. I was like, I wasn't in New York. I don't know where I was. I was on a trip or something. Yeah, I watched it to like unwind at the end of the night, and then I think the other thing, like, yeah, it's like when you make art, you have to think about who it's for and what your goal is. And like, if your goal is to be accessible, then that's going to make it even hard, right? Like, if you, again, I'm going to use this cooking metaphor. I don't know why I'm on. Yeah, actually, I do know why. It's because I cook all the time, and that's how I've been spending my quarantine. But it's like, if you want to make something that everybody likes, that's going to be harder, right, than a grilled cheese. Okay. And if you want to make a really good grilled cheese, you can do that. But like the like fancier or better or whatever like that you get, or the more you cater it to yourself, the fewer people are going to like it. So I think at some point you just have to like make what you want to eat and make what you want to watch.
Yeah, it's like going narrow and deep. You for a more specific audience, that audience will really love it, but you might lose some of the mass appeal of the grilled cheese.
Yeah.
Jim Gaffigan.
I have a question. Robert, and also both, all you guys are stand-ups, so this applies. Like, how long before you hate your old material? Like, what's your turnover rate?
2-3 days.
Yeah, right. I swear to
God. I put a special together and I released this week, and people are buying it, and I'm like, I can't. And all it was, I just took what I could. I didn't want, if I did a special, like even now, it would have to be about what's going on in the world now, and I felt I had some material that I'm aging out of, like, you know, I'm telling jokes that I got from my daughter when she was 7 and now she's 10, you know, so eventually I'm going to have to move out. So I put that together, but I'm like watching this back and pulling good parts of, you know, it'd be like a 10 minute set, and I'd pull part of the joke out here that fit in the longer set. But yeah, that's an agonizing process for me to go back and watch that stuff.
I feel like the longer I do stand up, the faster it gets. Like, I feel like I used to be able to have jokes for about a year, and now I was looking at stuff from before, like right before quarantine, and I was like, no, absolutely not. Shut it down. No.
Yeah,
but also
I just started doing my first shows back this past week. I did 2 little like private rooftop shows, and it was really fun for me to dip back into old stuff that I hadn't done in a while, because it was like it was fresh to me again. It was fun, and it was fun to be on stage again. But going back through the old material, it was a neat process. But there were definitely other bits that I came across. I'm like, nah, I just don't look like the 18-year-old kid that wrote this anymore. You know? Like I can't pull off this bit anymore. So,
have the three of you, like, during this time off, maybe revisited some old stuff that you got tired of or thought maybe wasn't
I have
funny as you thought it was, and now like vamped it up? Or
I think it wasn't the material. Like I have material that I did early on in my career that the material was better than I was at the time. So like my pace, timing, all those things have improved. So now I'm able to, to revisit those in a different way. I think I can make those funny. But I had the same conversation with a comic who travels and really well known. We all know him. He's been on our show many times. But it's like this, you miss that testing out of new material because you don't have that immediate response. Even if you're on Zoom or, with I got shows at the end of August back in Ohio that I'm going to do, and I'm like, I've got a few things that I've done during quarantine, but I'm not sure this is funny. So my wife, I'm like, is this funny? And she's a pretty good indicator, but not always. Sometimes, I mean, something's a little quick, little out there that the audience may not enjoy. So
yeah,
but it's the best I have for now. But it's tough. You don't have that immediate reaction. So yeah, for me, if a joke sticks around, it's because the audience have laughed. Like even I have some things in my special that I'm like, this is really a really crappy thing to say about a human or whatever. And then, but then I'm like, but I said it and everyone laughed, right? Over and over several times. Like anybody talks about Kevin Hart's, homophobic material or what Eddie Murphy did in his specials and all that, they want to look back and judge comics like that. But the reason they told that in an hour special is because they had told that hundreds of times before that, and a bunch of people responded. It was a shared feeling that they brought out. So that's for me. It sticks if it's a laugh that is stuck out.
Those are some of the most fun ones to do too. Is where you already the joke. There's no surprise for you in it, but it's still so much fun to see a crowd that's hearing it for the first time react to it for the first time. That's why I like little simple jokey joke. I did one of the shows I just did back. It's such a dumb line, but I asked the crowd do you think it's okay to sleep with your fourth cousin? I don't know if you've ever heard me do this, Sarah, but your fourth cousin, you think it's okay to sleep with your fourth cousin? I mean, come on. At that point, you've already slept with 3 others, right? So,
I told Robert if it bothered him sleeping with his fourth cousin, he should just quit counting.
I always say that everyone has a hot cousin, right? Sure. And if you think that you don't, either your family is ugly or you're the hot cousin. So, also, I always said that I was like, yeah, everyone has a hot cousin once in a group of people, and everyone was like, no. And then, God, he's not watching this, but he came to a show, and everyone was like, oh no, your cousin's hot. And I was like, see, thank you.
Speaking of hot, you've done a lot of modeling. You were on America's Next Top Model. We know that.
I was, yeah.
We got some of the pictures. I pulled some pictures I want to show our audience.
Real quick, credit Aric for your best transition ever, man.
That was very smooth. So smooth.
Anyway, tell us about that experience, because that's a pretty big deal.
I mean, it was bananas, really, is the only way I can describe it. God, I'm sure there's a better way to describe it, but that's all I got. No, but it was just so surreal, honestly, because I was on America's Next Top Model. I was, I think, 19 years old. I had been in college for 2 years in Boston, but that was truly the extent of my world experience, because I grew up in a town of 700 people. My graduating class was 13 people. So very small school, very small town. I don't necessarily think I was a sheltered kid for that experience, but you're gonna anyone in that situation is gonna be at least fairly sheltered. And so, and no one had ever said you should model. That was never a conversation that I'd had. I had never had my photo professionally taken. So it was just weird. And then I was in LA in a house full of the most beautiful people that I'd ever it's hard to explain how shocking it was, because also so for the first episode there's I don't know how they do it now. I know the show's different, but at the time there's 13 people in the house that compete on the whole show. But for the first episode, they have 30 girls, I think. And those 30 girls are actually narrowed down from about 70 girls that they fly to the location. So it's you fly and you see just a group of 70 girls that are the most beautiful people you've ever seen. And then they whittle that down to get to the 14 that are in the house.
They pressure do from the jump. You don't even get to settle in and hey, how are you, hang out. It's you're
never.
Here for competing.
So you're not competing when you land, but they do just keep you on your feet. You never know what's coming next, and that's definitely a tactic, right? They keep you in a high stress situation all the time.
That's where entertainment comes from. That's why people watch. They don't watch it to see the end result of your picture or whatever. They watch to see the drama that what you go through stress wise.
I've been around behind the scenes of the Maury show and Bill Cunningham show, and they'll do things there where they literally they soak the fires beforehand. They want the guests to be as anxious as possible, and they tell them this is your chance, and the other people are going to be talking shit, and here's a Red Bull, and they get it because they want
Beth?
to get your response possible.
Yeah, no, 100%. And you're not competing right away, but they like the first few days are them just learning everything about you. Like I always said, like nothing was scripted, but nothing surprised the producers. Like the producers knew what we were going to say before we did, because I mean, we landed in Puerto Rico and it was like 5 hours of like psychological testing, right? They did personality tests, fill in the blank, like some standardized testing, IQ tests. And then you have to meet with a shrink for like 2 hours. Then they do a full physical. Like the vetting is so intense.
Wow.
So they know you better than anybody, you know? And so then that's how they narrow it down. Is like
military level, like
it's like it's next level. So yeah, and the physical was hilarious because again, they don't tell you, like you just have a handler who like drags you around. You never know where you're going, right? They'll be like, okay, here we go. You're going to be in this room for 2 hours. Just fill in the blank. And you're like, I have to pee, man. Like, you know, or like whatever it is. And so, yeah, so we did that. And then like, after that, I was like, oh my God, if I don't pee, I might die. Like I might die. And they were like, okay, well, we have to go to the other end of the hotel. And I was like, I literally like physically cannot, like I have had to pee for 2 hours. Like all of my answers on that test are going to be skewed because it's all me being like, I have to pee. So they were like, okay, well, you can pee when you get there. And I was like, no, I don't think you understand, like physically, like I can't walk. Like so they were like, fine, go to the bathroom. So I went to the bathroom. And then they took me to the other end of the hotel because it was all in this like big resort. And like we were in like hotel room, like ballrooms, just like, you know, because there were literally 70 of us. So then they take me to the other side of the hotel, and it's a doctor's office that they've like weirdly set up in this hotel room. Like they have like that they've flown in. I don't know how they did it. Anyway, so they have me go in and the doctor's like, can you pee in this cup? And I was like, okay, I see why you asked that. And I absolutely cannot. So they were like, okay, I guess we'll just wait. So then they tried to take my blood and I fainted because I faint every time you take my blood. And so they had to like, I don't know, they had to like line me down and put my feet up. And they were just like, they were just so stressed. And I was like, I'm so sorry. Like I was, you know, I faint every time.
Was this on camera? Was this part of the show?
No, this isn't on camera. This is before they even get the camera crew in. This is when they're just trying to figure out. Honestly, I think the girls and I were guessing because like a lot of us were comparing notes because a lot of us were like, okay, so they took the pee and the blood and the hair to see what drugs were on. I think it's like a lot of background testing. And so, but then a lot of us were comparing notes and we were like, because I was like, I'm pretty sure I have weed in my system because it stays there for a while. And they were like, yeah, me too. And then one girl was like, I definitely did cocaine like 2 days ago. And we were all just like, I don't know, you know.
Why would you have to say definitely? I definitely did cocaine.
I definitely did cocaine.
Extra words. They didn't need to say that.
Who, you know, she was just really sure.
I'm deaf. There's no doubt, guys.
If you question me,
sometimes I'm not sure. I don't remember, but this time,
I might be cutting it close. No, I definitely.
Yeah. I mean, maybe there were a lot of nights that she doesn't remember, you know. I don't know her. Yeah.
Well, let's look at some of your work.
Okay.
Got a few things. So let's take a look at some of these pictures of you, and you can tell us the story behind them.
Okay.
This one. So
I sent you that one because so you picked the other ones. I picked this one because this is the first shoot that I did. I quit modeling like 5 years ago. Professionally, you know, but then in quarantine I was like bored and I quit, but I do a shoot every year with a friend of mine for my birthday. Or I have a couple of friends who are photographers and we do a shoot every year for my birthday. And so I was in quarantine and I was like kind of sad. And I was also just getting over what I'm pretty sure was COVID. And I was like feeling better. So I was like, I'm just going to do a photo shoot myself. So I like bought this wig, which was, I don't know, $3 and terrible. And so I just did this shoot myself. So this was the first one that I did myself with like, I have like a little remote and I did the makeup myself. And so then since then I've just been doing different ones.
I'll show some more.
Yeah.
I'll show some more. There's another.
That one is not me. I did not do that one. Oh wait, who took? Jenny took this one. Jenny, I don't know how to say her last name. Walkowiak. She does a bunch of comedians' photos. She's amazing. Walkowiak.
You say it like that with the with the pauses and everything. That's it.
Yes. Well, that's Polish, I believe. You have to pause a lot to process the sadness that
Take a bite of a pierogi
has happened. Exactly. And a punchki,
Get back to the rest of the word. Yeah.
Polish is the weirdest language. I don't even know. I'm assuming it's Polish.
Here's another.
Let's see. That one I did myself.
Really?
Yeah, that one I was trying to look like Marilyn Monroe. That's the same wig I wear in the 1918 videos, but I styled it.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been watching a bunch of videos of drag queens. Really what happened is the first month of quarantine, I watched a lot of Drag Race. And so for my birthday, then I did a shoot for my birthday and decided to become a drag queen. So
here's another.
Yeah, this one I did myself. That top was an Instagram ad that was really successful. I saw it and I was like, yeah, I want that. So I bought it.
What does this picture mean, Sarah?
So I did this picture and then I did another picture where it looks like my face is like cracked in half. And someone was like, is this your mood during quarantine? And I was like, let's hope not. Like, let's just hope not. I don't know what this picture means. This picture means honestly that I had a cute shirt and that I wanted to have fun with it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the scene. Have you ever seen David Bowie's Labyrinth?
Yes. Oh yeah, when she's in that
they
hallway.
fall in the tunnel and the hands are all reaching out.
Yeah. I did. It's funny. I started an OnlyFans like a couple months in because I'd been doing all these shoots and I was like, I post some of them on Instagram, but like I was like, you know what? Let's like see if some people will pay for them basically. And so I've been doing that and it's been very fun. But this one was like one week where maybe, I don't know. And I was like, does this represent like OnlyFans? Is that what this is? Because OnlyFans is like Patreon, but like a little bit sluttier. It's basically my Instagram, but like a little bit sluttier. It's fun. If anyone wants to subscribe.
Plug the OnlyFans. Are you still doing it? You're still rocking?
Yeah, I still do it. Yeah, it's actually, and it's been very fun. Like it just, I mean, I've just been doing a bunch of photo shoots. It's been surprisingly easy. Yeah. So that one. Also, fun fact, I did buy that outfit. That wig just came in the mail, like with a different outfit that I didn't order it. I think like they just put it in the box by mistake. So I was just like, all right, well, let's put it on. Yeah, and that shirt has matching pants and it is the least practical thing I've ever bought in my life. It's so dumb. Like, where do you even wear that?
Here's the last one I have of you for tonight is this one.
Oh yeah, that one was really fun. So that one, I did for a while I was trying to just go through the art of every decade. But then I got bored and I did this one. I skipped to the 60s. Like I started in the 1910s and then was like, I did the 20s and then I have done the 30s, but I haven't released it yet. And then I was like, fuck it, I want to go to the 60s. So I did this, but then it kind of came out looking like Thirsty Spice. So I don't know. But this one was really fun. I also, I think this is the first time that I did the drag thing on the eyebrows, which if you know anything about makeup, it's very hard.
And I don't know anything about Robert.
This
is another good segue into like, speaking of which one of us knows more about makeup. It's not me. But Robert always does this when we have anyone who's been a model on. He wants us to see you to critique him and his modeling skills. Okay. So here's number one.
Okay, very well done. Did you style this yourself?
No, I did not. Okay. I was very uncomfortable with the style of this actually, but it's a great photo, and this is, you might know the photographer Jason Taylor. He does stand up as well.
Oh, cool. I don't, but I should, because I would. So was this just a test shoot, or?
It was when I first came to New York. I first started doing stand up. I had a guy who was like quasi managing me and was very very Hollywood. And it's like, you can be young Hollywood. You need to be preppy. You need to. And so this was the look that he was going for. I'm like, dude, this isn't me at all. I've never worn.
Well, I need to go. Let's just keep this going. I got to show some more.
Okay, so just also a quick okay, see that I would say if
I would have clicked on this profile if if this was a dating app and I came across this picture, I'd have clicked.
You would have swiped right.
Oh yeah, she's hot.
I would. I would swipe left because I've had too many, I don't know, I can't date male models. I got a thing with it. It's too weird. They're too weird. I've spent too much time with them.
This was my attempt at 1918 lesbian. So
yeah. But if I were an agent or a client, I would say that doesn't look enough like you. Like if you came and I saw these photos. Also, like, so a test shoot is when you start out modeling, if you're not a 14-year-old that was like discovered in Minnesota by an agent, you have like, you do like test shoots so that clients can see what you look like when you're photographed, because people look very different, obviously, but you still want it to like look like you, which is very hard because a lot of photographers love to do a lot of Photoshop, and they'll be like, look, I made you look so good, and it's like, no, you have to make me look like me. I need please don't lie. I love the lie, but please don't do it.
So now we're getting more into Robert looking like Robert.
This is me.
Sure. And there, see, again, did you style that yourself?
We had a photographer for that one. It was a joint.
See, now, but he photoshopped your neck because it looks very long. Or was that alone?
This one I styled.
This
was back home.
Yeah, model zone pulled from the wardrobe. Yeah. Also, you never get to keep stuff. That's a bummer. People are always like, do you get to keep the clothes? And never, not once.
I keep this one here from this image because I can wear that shirt more honestly than anyone else.
Yes. Well, yeah.
In glove form, it would be ideal.
All right, now we're getting to the bottom of the barrel here, and this is one more after this one. He says this is a continuous shot, no editing.
No editing.
Nice.
Not sure how, but this is it. Again, would swipe right as heck on these.
Definitely would swipe right. Wait, I'm confused though. Where's her hair? Is that hair? What's happening here?
This one is also just me.
Just you, both you. No editing.
I budded and created a female counterpart for myself because gender fluidity.
Yeah, gender is a spectrum, and so is physics. I'm gonna say, having never taken physics.
Well, Sarah, this has been fun. We're glad you could join us. And I can't wait to see you in person and get back out on stages and all that.
I know. Oh, God. I can't even watch that much old stand-up because I get too nostalgic and get too sad.
Right. It's a unique situation. But,
for sure.
Listen, thank you so much for being on.
Thanks for having me. This was so fun. Yeah, everyone follow me.
Sarah, how before stand-up? Wait, what are your socials?
It's Sarah B. Hartshorne. Or Sarah Hartshorne on Twitter. But if you search for Sarah Hartshorne on either, it's HARTSHORNE, and my first name is spelled with an H, so SARAH. But also, you can go to sarahbhartshorne.com. My socials are on all of there. And also, if you find me on any one, you can click on the link in my bio, and it has links to all the other ones. So it's all, follow me. Yeah, I'm on TikTok.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me.
Nice meeting you.
All right,
nice to meet you.
Bye-bye.